If you're over 60 and you've been trying to do everything right, starting your mornings with discipline, routine, maybe even a few habits you've been told are healthy, I need to tell you something that might shock you. Because one of the most common things older adults do first thing in the morning, something that seems harmless, even virtuous, is quietly damaging your brain. It's something no one warned you about. Not your doctor, not your dietitian, not even the so-called wellness gurus online. But science is catching up. And what it's revealing is that your brain's performance, clarity, memory, and resilience is being affected by this habit before you've even had your second cup of coffee. If you've been feeling more forgetful lately, if your brain feels foggy, your words don't come as quickly, or your focus seems to disappear halfway through a task, it may not be aging. It may not be just stress. It may be this exact thing you do within the first hour of waking up. And when I tell you what it is, you'll understand why so many seniors struggle with brain fatigue. Not because they're lazy or broken, but because no one ever taught them how to protect their brain from the moment they open their eyes. So let's talk about it. Let's pull back the curtain, because this, right here, might be the moment where everything starts to make sense. The truth is, your brain is incredibly sensitive in the morning. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, your brain cells are in a state of repair. Your neurons are recalibrating. Your hormone levels are shifting from rest mode to alertness mode. Blood sugar is low. Cortisol, the stress hormone, is at its daily peak. Not because something is wrong, but because your body is trying to wake up and get moving. In this state, your brain is more vulnerable to what you feed it, physically, mentally, emotionally. The input you give it in the first 60 minutes determines how well it performs for the rest of the day. And here's where things go wrong. Most seniors, through no fault of their own, have developed a morning pattern that seems smart. It's praised as self-disciplined, even healthy. But what it actually does is spike cortisol, disrupt blood flow to the brain, and interrupt the delicate communication between brain cells. I'm talking about drinking coffee or tea on an empty stomach. Now, before you stop listening, let me explain. This isn't about demonizing coffee. In fact, coffee has some powerful benefits. But what matters, especially after 60, is the timing. Because the research is clear. Caffeine consumed without food in the morning can cause sharp, uneven surges in cortisol. This leads to a spike in alertness, followed by a crash in mental clarity. It increases anxiety. It impairs memory consolidation. It even worsens blood sugar control, something deeply tied to brain health as we age. That means when you wake up, skip breakfast, and immediately drink a cup of coffee, thinking you're getting ahead of your day, what you're actually doing is putting your brain on a roller coaster. 1 minute it's racing, the next it's tired, then distracted, then forgetful, then wired again, and not in a good way. If you've ever noticed that you feel sharp for 30 minutes, then suddenly scatterbrained, drained, or irritable, this could be why. And it's worse if you've ever tried intermittent fasting without medical guidance, because the combination of fasting, low glucose, and early morning caffeine overloads your adrenal system, the very system that helps regulate your focus, your stress response, and your ability to remember things under pressure. In younger bodies, there's more resilience. The system can compensate. But after 60, those margins get tighter. The same cup of coffee that once felt energizing now feels jittery. The same fasting protocol that used to help with weight loss now leaves your brain feeling depleted, your memory blurry, your words slower to form. Now, imagine doing that for years without realizing what it was doing to your brain. Imagine being told it was healthy, when in reality it was overloading your nervous system and draining your mental energy before the day even started. But here's the good news. The damage is not permanent. The brain is incredibly responsive, especially when you give it the right inputs at the right time. That means you don't have to give up coffee. You don't have to throw away your morning ritual. You just have to resequence it. Here's what works. Within 30 to 60 minutes of waking, give your brain a gentle landing. That means light, hydration, movement, and nourishment. In that order. Don't worry, I'll walk you through it. Start with light. Your brain runs on circadian rhythms, internal clocks that need natural light exposure in the morning to reset. And that could be sunlight through your kitchen window, a few minutes on your porch, or just sitting near a bright window while you sip water. This light helps regulate your cortisol, improve mood, and tell your brain it's time to fully wake up. Next, hydrate. Remember, you haven't had any fluids in 6 to 8 hours. Your brain is 75% water. Even mild dehydration slows down neuron communication and decreases mental clarity. So, before you drink your coffee, before anything else, drink a full glass of water. Add a pinch of sea salt or a slice of lemon if you like. It doesn't need to be fancy, it just needs to be consistent. Now, movement. Not a workout, just motion. Gentle stretching, walking to the mailbox, a few arm circles, a light stroll around your living room. This isn't about burning calories, it's about waking up the vestibular system, the part of your brain that controls balance, coordination, and alertness. Just 5 minutes of movement in the morning increases blood flow to the brain by up to 30%. Then, and only then, eat something. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't even have to be traditional breakfast. But your brain needs fuel, especially protein and healthy fats. Think eggs, nut butter on the whole grain toast, a small yogurt, some avocado, whatever you enjoy, as long as it gives your brain the nutrients it needs to stabilize blood sugar and start the day with energy, not exhaustion. Once you've done that, once your brain has had light, water, movement, and fuel, now you drink your coffee. Now the caffeine doesn't spike cortisol the wrong way. Now it actually helps you, enhances focus, boosts circulation, supports memory formation instead of interfering with it. This is what no one tells you, that how you start your morning after 60 has more impact on brain health than almost anything else you do that day. More than crossword puzzles, more than memory games, more than brain-boosting supplements or apps. Because all those things are great, but if you start your day with a spike in stress, a dip in glucose, and a flood of cortisol, none of those tools will work the way they're meant to. Your brain isn't lazy, it's trying to protect you. But if you don't support it in the morning, it's running uphill all day long. Now let's take it a step deeper, because this isn't just about fatigue. It's not just about memory lapses or mental fog. It's about long-term brain health, dementia, cognitive decline, Alzheimer's. Research now shows that chronic morning cortisol spikes, the kind caused by caffeine on an empty stomach, are linked to hippocampal shrinkage over time. The hippocampus is the part of your brain responsible for memory. It's one of the first areas to deteriorate in Alzheimer's disease. And it's not just the cortisol, it's also the inflammatory cascade that comes with unstable blood sugar. When you flood your system with caffeine without food, you can trigger a temporary spike in glucose, followed by a rapid crash. That crash increases neuroinflammation. And inflammation is the root of most cognitive diseases. That means by simply changing the sequence of your morning routine, light first, then hydration, then movement, then food, then caffeine, you are literally protecting your brain from structural damage. And you'll feel the difference almost immediately. Not just in energy, but in your ability to think clearly, respond calmly, and remember more throughout the day. This is why it matters, because too many people over 60 are told that brain decline is inevitable, that forgetting names or repeating questions or losing train of thought is just part of aging. It's not. It's a signal that your brain is undersupported, underfueled, overstimulated at the wrong time, and undernourished at the right time. But the beauty is, your brain wants to work with you. It wants to heal. It wants clarity. All it needs is rhythm. All it needs is for you to show up for it with care, not perfection, just consistency. And that's where we're going next. Because in the next part, we're going to look at how your morning habits impact your mood, your balance, your risk of falling, and even your immune system. We'll explore how your brain is connected to your gut, your heart, your muscles, and how one morning mistake can ripple through your entire body. But don't worry, we're not just going to talk about problems. We're going to walk through the solutions. Real, simple changes that anyone can make, starting tomorrow, to build a brain that's stronger, sharper, and more resilient with every passing year. So stay with me, because the best is yet to come. Let's keep going. Now that you know what happens inside the brain first thing in the morning, let's talk about how those early moments ripple through the rest of your day and the rest of your body. Because your brain is not just an island sitting on top of your neck. It's not something that works alone or suffers alone. Everything you do, feel, eat, and move through is connected to it. And once you see those connections clearly, it becomes so much easier to support your brain, not just through vitamins or crossword puzzles, but through everyday choices that affect your balance, your emotions, your clarity, even your immune system. Let's talk about something that many seniors struggle with, but almost never connect to brain health. Mood swings, low motivation, and that heavy emotional fog that makes even the smallest task feel overwhelming. That's not weakness. That's not laziness. That's not just how aging works. It's actually tied to your neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers in your brain that determine how you feel, how you think, how you move, and how much energy you have to face the day. And here's the surprising part. Those neurotransmitters don't just respond to your thoughts. They respond to your physical routine, especially in the morning. If you start your day with caffeine on an empty stomach and no protein, what happens is your dopamine and serotonin, two of your most important brain chemicals, become harder to produce. Dopamine is your motivation molecule. It's what helps you feel curious, focused, and driven. Serotonin is your mood stabilizer. It helps you feel calm, content, emotionally steady. Both are built from amino acids that come from protein, and both are regulated by your blood sugar and stress levels. That means when you skip food, drink coffee, spike cortisol, and crash your blood sugar, you're making it nearly impossible for your brain to produce the very chemicals that help you feel human. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're underfueled. It's like trying to drive a car without oil in the engine and wondering why it sounds terrible. The brain isn't failing. It's just waiting for what it needs. And when this becomes a pattern, day after day, year after year, what starts as morning fatigue turns into midday brain fog. What starts as low energy turns into chronic depression. What starts as simple forgetfulness becomes a growing fear of decline. But none of it is inevitable. None of it is beyond your control. Because once you understand the rhythm of your brain and you learn to support it with the right sequence, things start to shift fast. Let's take another example that catches a lot of people by surprise. Balance. Did you know that brain inflammation from poor morning routines actually affects your sense of balance and stability? Here's how. There's a part of your brain called the cerebellum. It sits at the back of your head, and it's responsible for coordination, balance, and movement. It's also incredibly sensitive to inflammation and blood sugar swings, especially in older adults. So, if you've been feeling a little off balance lately, maybe not enough to fall, but enough to feel uncertain, unsteady, that could be a sign your brain is inflamed, not injured, not damaged, just irritated from stress hormones, poor circulation, and nutritional gaps. And guess what? The same cortisol spike that comes from early caffeine on an empty stomach is one of the things that disrupts the cerebellum the most. Your balance isn't just a matter of muscle strength or foot position. It's a brain issue, and it starts with how you wake up. Now, here's the most surprising connection of all: your immune system. Most people think of their immune system as something that protects their body, not their brain. But the two are completely intertwined. In fact, most of your immune activity begins in the gut, and your gut is directly wired to your brain through the vagus nerve. This means your brain inflammation, your memory performance, your emotional stability, all of it is affected by the health of your digestive system. And one of the fastest ways to disrupt that system is to flood it with caffeine before food. Because caffeine, especially on an empty stomach, increases acid production in the gut, slows down digestion, and can even alter the balance of bacteria that help your immune system function. And what's more, gut inflammation sends danger signals straight to your brain. So now, your brain is not only dealing with cortisol and blood sugar spikes, it's also dealing with immune stress from the gut. That creates something scientists now call neuroinflammation. It's not pain you can feel, it's not swelling you can see, but it's a slow-burning fire inside your brain tissue. It affects memory, it affects sleep, it affects how clearly you think. And again, it can all start with a seemingly innocent cup of coffee at the wrong time. This is what no one explains clearly, that your morning routine is not just about how you feel before lunch. It's setting the tone for how every single system in your body operates. But here's the incredible part. That means one simple change in your morning routine can improve multiple things at once. Less brain fog, better balance, stronger mood, improved immune response, better digestion, clearer memory. All of it starts to realign when you get the first hour of your day right. So let's talk about what that actually looks like, because I know habits don't change overnight. And this isn't about being perfect, it's about consistency. It's about creating a small rhythm that your brain can depend on. If you've been used to waking up and going straight to the coffee maker, I'm not here to take that joy away from you. I'm here to help you reclaim it in a way that works with your body, not against it. Start small. Tomorrow morning, before you touch your coffee, drink a full glass of water. That's it. Just one change. Then go back to your routine. The next day, after that water, go sit in natural light for 5 minutes. Maybe while you read the paper. Maybe while you listen to music. Doesn't matter. What matters is that your body feels the rhythm. Light, hydration, then movement. Then the next day, once that feels normal, add a small bite of protein before your coffee. Maybe a hard-boiled egg, a spoonful of nut butter, a slice of turkey. It doesn't have to be a full meal. It just needs to be something to buffer the caffeine and stabilize your blood sugar. Now your coffee works with you. Now it boosts memory, not anxiety. Now it enhances blood flow, not stress. And as this routine becomes natural, your brain begins to trust you again. It stops bracing for impact every morning. It stops panicking. And it starts doing what it was built to do. Think clearly, remember easily, and guide you through your day with strength. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to wait months to feel it. You'll feel the difference in days, maybe even on day one. That sense of calm alertness, that return of focus, that quiet steadiness that used to feel out of reach. It's not magic, it's not luck. It's science, it's rhythm, it's honoring the way your brain is built. And it's something you can start today. But we're not done yet, because in the final part, we're going even deeper. We're going to look at the foods that repair your brain after 60, the sleep patterns that reverse years of fatigue, the secret to repairing memory at the cellular level, and the real reason some people stay mentally sharp into their 90s, while others decline fast in their 60s. We'll cover it all, clearly, simply, and truthfully, so that by the end of this video, you'll feel not only informed, but empowered, because your brain is still listening, still learning, still capable of getting stronger. Let's keep going. So now that we've peeled back the curtain on the morning routine, how one choice can trigger a cascade of biological stress, it's time to move beyond just what not to do. Because real healing doesn't come from just removing damage. It comes from building strength, from giving your brain what it needs to thrive. If you're over 60, your brain is still changing every day. That's not a problem. That's an opportunity. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to grow, adapt, and form new connections, doesn't vanish with age. It just requires more support, more intention. But the reward? It's massive. Because mental clarity, sharp memory, and emotional resilience are still within reach, not just for the lucky few, but for anyone who builds the right environment. So let's create that environment, starting with food. There are nutrients that literally rebuild your brain tissue, not in theory, in real measurable ways. Omega-3 fatty acids like DHA and EPA, antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, B vitamins like B6, B9, and B12. These aren't supplements on a shelf. These are real nutrients found in real food. And when they show up on your plate, your brain wakes up. Think about this. Your brain is made up of about 60% fat. Not just any fat, specific structural fats that protect neurons, allow electrical signals to fire smoothly, and help memory form. And when your brain doesn't get those fats through your diet, it doesn't shut down. It compensates. It uses lower quality materials. It slows down processes. And that shows up as forgetfulness, emotional volatility, and even balance issues. But when you start including these brain-building fats regularly, from wild salmon, walnuts, flaxseed oil, sardines, or even pasture-raised eggs, your brain literally repairs the scaffolding it's been holding together with duct tape for years. And the change is visible, not just on brain scans. In your life, your memory sharpens, your thoughts come quicker. You're able to carry on a conversation without searching for words halfway through. And here's the key. You don't need to eat like a nutritionist, you just need to eat like someone who respects their brain. So imagine starting your morning with something like this: a soft-boiled egg, half an avocado, a small handful of walnuts, maybe some sautéed greens with olive oil and garlic, It's not a feast. It's not complicated. But to your brain, that meal is information. It says, we are safe. We are supported. You can focus now. Now layer that with hydration. Your brain is 75% water. Even slight dehydration shrinks your brain volume, slows cognitive speed, and increases confusion. A simple glass of water, ideally with a pinch of sea salt or a squeeze of lemon, can restore clarity in minutes. Not because it's fancy, but because it's fundamental. Then we come to movement. Not exercise, not a gym, just movement. Your brain doesn't want perfection, it wants flow. It wants circulation. Blood carries oxygen and nutrients to your neurons. Without it, your brain gets foggy and tired. But after a 10-minute walk, a few slow stretches in the sunlight, the brain lights up like a switchboard. You feel it right away. The mood shift, the energy shift, the deeper breath. That's not coincidence. That's chemistry. Endorphins, dopamine, oxygenation, all of it gets turned on through gentle movement. And you don't need a trainer to start. You just need a reason. And here's the best one. Your future depends on it. Every morning you move, you're telling your brain to stay active, stay sharp, stay connected to your body. And that signal echoes throughout the day. Even 10 minutes before breakfast can change the next 10 hours. And while we're talking about rhythms, we can't skip the most underestimated habit of all, sleep. People think sleep is passive, that it's just about rest. But your brain uses sleep to take out the trash. Literally. During deep sleep, your brain's glymphatic system clears out metabolic waste and toxins, including beta amyloid, one of the proteins linked to Alzheimer's. If you don't get deep quality sleep, your brain doesn't get a chance to detox. It's like never emptying the trash can and wondering why your house smells worse every week. And what's one of the biggest disruptors of that deep sleep in seniors? That early caffeine spike. When caffeine hits your brain first thing, it locks up your adenosine receptors, the ones that help you feel sleepy when it's time for bed. And even though the buzz wears off by afternoon, your brain chemistry stays altered. You go to bed tired but wired. You toss. You wake up feeling unrefreshed, and the cycle repeats. But when you delay your coffee until after food, or wait an hour after waking, your sleep improves. Not instantly, but steadily. Your adenosine works properly. Your circadian rhythm stabilizes. And most importantly, your brain gets to do its job while you rest. Now, here's the final, unexpected piece of the puzzle: social connection. It might not sound like morning advice, but your social life impacts your brain just as much as your breakfast. Studies show that people over 60 who maintain regular conversations, laughter, and emotional closeness have larger hippocampal volume, the part of the brain responsible for memory. Loneliness shrinks your brain. Isolation accelerates aging. But even a 5-minute phone call with someone you love can light up your neural pathways and buffer you against decline. So, if your morning includes just one message to a friend, one shared smile, one warm interaction, that's brain medicine. And it's one you won't find in any pill bottle. You see, the answer was never just about stopping coffee or cutting sugar or avoiding screens. The answer is about rhythm, order, respecting your biology in the sequence it was designed for. Light, water, movement, food, connection, then stimulation. That's the blueprint. Not just for a better morning, but for a better brain, a better life. And if all of this feels like too much, start small. Tomorrow morning, hydrate before coffee, then sit in the light, then move for a few minutes, then nourish your brain with real food. Then sip your coffee slowly, as a gift, not a crutch. Then reach out to someone you love, to yourself, to the day ahead. Do that, and your brain won't just thank you. It will reward you with clarity, with steadiness, with peace. You are not too old to change. You are not too far gone. You are simply ready to take back your mornings, ready to build a brain you can trust, ready to feel like yourself again. And it starts now. So take a breath, choose your rhythm, and step into the day with strength. You've got this.